40%, 50%, 100%? Like, are you for real?
So your total is gonna be $25.91, and then when you do that 15% tip, it's $39.
I'm so sick of tipping, y'all. I'm not tipping anybody else. Like, I'm so sick of it.
Your bill is $100. Their pay is $2.13, which is tip wage we can afford to own a business. Because I don't understand how billion-dollar companies.
今アメリカではテイクアウトでもセルフレジでも画面が当然のようにチップを要求してきます。相場は 20% から 30%。限界を迎えたアメリカの人々のリアルな声を見ていきましょう。
So your total is gonna be $25.91, and then when you do that 15% tip, it's $3.89.
Can I just give you cash?
Sorry, I already ran it through.
Why? Don't you usually give the customer a choice?
Well, that's just the most popular option.
So I just picked up takeout for myself. I already paid $27 for one meal. You didn't bring it to my table. You didn't refill my drink. All you did was tie a plastic bag together, spun the damn iPad around, and you're asking for a 25% tip. I am so sick of this tip culture and this trend. It is ridiculous. And even if I wanted to go get what I needed to prepare a meal, there's self-checkout. Self-checkout used to be an option. Now it's the only fucking open lane. No cashier, no bagger, just a blinking screen and a damn 8-inch platform to stack $250 worth of groceries on, where if you make the wrong move, half of it falls to the floor. Could we please get some cashiers and baggers back? It used to be a nice little entry-level job, you know, something for kids during the summer at least, or maybe something, you know, you just want to get your foot in the door to kind of work your way up, or just a part-time job as some supplemental income, right? Now, we just gave all that up for terrible service and a little bit more profit, I guess. I don't fucking know. It's getting old.
Apparently, restaurants can set the amount that they want you to tip. So take a look at this machine. It says 40%, 50%, 100%. Like, are you for real? Like, most places like 10%, 15%, 20%, and then the custom on the bottom. But I feel like restaurants have gotten like out of control. It even has words like so, good, like a 30 or 40% tip. I mean, that's phenomenal. Most people would say that's absolutely phenomenal. I've heard of so many stories of waiters and waitresses getting mad. Yes, there are some people that might only tip $1 or not tip at all. But to like have this as a norm, 40%, 50%, signs that say if you don't tip at least 25% or 30%, you can't eat out. But what do you think about this? These are literally the buttons already pre-programmed in the machine. I think that's crazy.
When did we get to 90%, 100%, 50%, 30, 40, 50, and 100% tips? How did this become a thing? I remember when it was 10 and 12 and 15, even 12, 15, 18. But now we're seeing 30 and 40% tip suggestions on a calculator, on a screen when they turn it around to us to lay out our tips, even 50%, 100%. Who's actually tipping these amounts, and what restaurant have the balls enough to stick it in front of us to say, here, you should give us an extra 30, 40, 50%? What do you say? What do you say there, Bobby Joe? What do you say?
In New York City, tipping culture is genuinely insane. You tip a minimum pretty much everywhere of 20% on top of your bill, which is something I found honestly so crazy when I moved here, the fact that everyone does this and it's just the standard. When I first moved to New York, I lived in a luxury building for the last 2 years, and now I live in a building that does not have a doorman, and the subject of tipping your doorman came up at drinks. Basically, we were asking, like, what is the standard? Is it like $100 per person, $200, $500? Is it more of a pooled thing where you put like $1,000 in an envelope and give it to all of them and it's spread out? What is the general consensus of tipping culture in New York for you guys if you do have a doorman? Like, what is it expected? What is the going rate? Does it depend on like what kind of building you have or how well you know your doorman? What is it all based off? I'd love to know, because every single year that we tip them, we would just have no idea and kind of ask our neighbours and try and get like a general gist. But in saying that, someone asked me what were the biggest culture shocks moving from Australia to New York, and honestly there's not any massive ones. I know that when I first moved to New York, which sounds so silly, I used to be scared to take the subway after like when it was dark, and yes, obviously you still have to have your wits about you, but I feel like my favorite mode of transport is definitely the city bike, and then second to that, subway. Honestly, taking a car in New York is a luxury, yes, but it does typically like take a lot longer, and the only time that we really do that is if it's raining or it's super late out and like 2 a.m 3 a.m number. From that, I wouldn't say that there's many culture shocks. If you're new here, my mom is American, so I posted on my story the other day that I do have a US passport, so someone was asking how I have that. It's because I was born here, so I wouldn't say that there's too many massive culture shocks. But if you visited the US, what do you think that your biggest culture shocks were? I'd be like super interested to know, because I feel like there's a massive difference between like visiting New York and living in New York.
I might get backlash for this, but can somebody exactly tell me why we need to tip beauty services? Because the tip culture in the US has gone insane. Sit down restaurants, I could understand because they get a very low wage and you get everything serviced. You ask them for anything, they'll get it to you. But beauty services, like getting your nails done, getting your hair done, and I get them done often. I always tip 20%, but in my brain, I am following more of the societal pressure rather than it making sense in my head. For example, I get my hair done, let's say haircut, hair dye, $200. It's a set price that the artist made. I am paying for the service for you to dye my hair, cut my hair, whatever. Attaching 20% tip on top of all the service that's already been quoted would make sense if they went out of their way to give an exceptional service. Most salons, nail places don't give you snacks, drinks, maybe water if you ask for it. 99% of the time, beyond the services that I paid, getting your nails done or your hair, there's nothing beyond that deserves like extra $40, $50 on top of that. And these days, beauty services are more demanding for 20% tips than like restaurants that I've been to. Or at like skincare clinics that you go to in New York City, they get mostly paid hourly wage, right? And so why are we tipping at places that already get hourly wage, or they get to set their prices? Now, there are beauty clinics that I go to that give exceptional service, and I am more than happy to tip, of course.
I'm so sick of tipping, y'all. I'm not tipping anybody else. Like, I'm so sick of it. Like, regular restaurant, hair, nails, toes, the things that I normally do. Everybody else, the answer is no. No, I'm not tipping you for taking my order in the drive-thru. No, I'm not tipping you because I just paid for something. No! Stop asking me. And I'm pushing the button. No! You know what it's about to ask me. Stop telling me that it's going to ask you. Oh, it's going to ask you a question now. No. Go ahead and hit the no and then hand me the thing. I'm not tipping. So sick of this shit.
Tipping culture is getting out of hand now in America. I'm going to call it what I like to call an epidemic. I'm at the coffee shop recently. I ordered my coffee black, right? I was not loved as a child, so that's why I do that. But the lady takes it, puts it from the pot in the coffee cup, no problem, flips the screen around and says, hey, it's going to ask you a couple questions. And I said, oh, is it now? Because I know you know the question it's going to ask. I know the question. We all know it. You're not fooling anyone. Not everything deserves a tip. I went to go get new tires on my truck, and they literally had the screen turn around and had the audacity to say, would you like to tip? And I said, no, not at all. The only thing that screen should be saying is this total correct? Did we price gouge you for these tires? Yes, you did.
So let's talk about this right here, because this was posted in a Tip Wage Workers Facebook group, and I think it's time that we as a country talk about this. So it says, dear guests, your server is not a volunteer. They don't work for free. We don't serve for free. So let's do some math. If your bill is $100, their pay is $2.13, which is tip wage workers minimum wage, plus the $20 tip. So your total should be $122.13. And the part at the bottom that gets me every single time is they say, if you can't afford a tip, you can't afford to dine out. And I made a Facebook post responding to this saying that, can we stop saying if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to dine, and start saying if a restaurant can't pay its employees a livable wage without depending on the generosity of customers, then they can't afford to own a business. Because I don't understand how billion-dollar companies tricked tip wage workers into believing that the customers are the problem for not wanting to pay extra on top of the bill we already paid, and not the billion-dollar companies that should be paying their employees a livable wage. It's only in America we got to deal with BS like this, because I've been to 3 different countries that have the same restaurants they have in America, and I didn't have to tip at any of them because they don't do tips. Tipping fatigue is already a thing, and y'all getting mad at the customers for not wanting to pay your wage instead of the billion-dollar company you work for is crazy. Also, I don't care how hard y'all stare at me when I'm tapping this keypad, I am not tipping on to-go orders.